Yes, sir.
Well, it's not quite time yet. It's 5:58. I'm gonna go ahead and call it to order.
Let's do it.
There we go. It's on now. I'd like to call this April 16th, 2026 work session of the Jackson County Board of Education to order. I'll turn it over to Dr. Brown for superintendent's comments.
Well, good evening, board, community, parents, grandparents, family, and friends. Thank you for being here this evening. I know we have a special presentation here in a few minutes, which we're really excited about. I think hopefully everyone had a great week last week with spring break and rested and ready for the last few weeks of school as we wind down the 25-26 school year. It's an exciting time. I know for everybody, we are getting excited about graduation, the graduation plans, and celebrating the class of 2026. But there's a lot of work that's going to take place between now and then. So thank you for being here this evening. At this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Miriam Ledford-Lyle, who will share Legacy Knoll Middle School highlights.
I'm going to make some comments a little bit later on, but I would like to introduce our choral director, Jenna Wagner, and our 7th grade chorus to highlight just one of the many things that are happening at Legacy Knoll.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Wagner, and I'm the chorus director at Legacy Knoll Middle School. Thank you so much for having us. The group that is about to get into their positions in just a moment are members of the LKMS 7th grade chorus. These students just received superior ratings at our large group performance evaluation and have been recommended to sing at our State Music Educators Conference next year. These students display professionalism, teamwork, and enthusiasm for music on a daily basis. I want to say thank you for your commitment to the fine arts in Jackson County. We are so grateful that chorus and music are essential courses, K through 12, in our Jackson County schools. We'll be performing a song called The Hills by Jacob Narverud, and first we'll do a brief warm-up, so just give us a moment and we'll get ready and we'll perform for you guys.
We would like to extend our gratitude to Ms. Wagner for her amazing leadership of our chorus, to our 7th grade students. And tonight is the way that this happened tonight is the result of a lot of decisions. And a lot of those decisions really come from you. So it starts with the board, your willingness to serve on the Board of Education. You decided to run and serve. You decided to support our facilities by actually allowing us to have a room that's specifically designed for chorus. You supported us with materials, with funding that allows us to buy things like music and also performance materials. You also are funding more competitive salaries so that we can attract the best and the brightest instructors. And you really support us in allowing us to have more connections teachers than the state allows us to have in terms of funding, which allows these opportunities to exist for our students. So this is only some of our students who participate in our choral program. We have actually, since opening, our chorus has increased in numbers by 39%. And so we're really excited about the numbers of students who are participating in our program and learning, and it is indeed an honor for them to be able to participate in next year's conference as a guest. So on behalf of the LKMS Chorus, a token of our appreciation is one of our chorus hoodies. We would like for you to represent LKMS around the town, and just as a reminder of all the opportunities, not only in the fine arts, but in lots of ways, both academic and not, that students in Jackson County have to be able, because of the decisions that you have made, to be able to support our students. So thank you so much. So without further ado, students, let's give the Board of Education and Dr. Brown a round of applause.
You guys were awesome. I don't know if I can wear the hoodie in public, because if somebody requests that I have the opportunity to sing, that will not go well for me or for them. Thank you. A few more reminders, board. Our Monday meeting will be in the auditorium. We have a number of student recognitions that will take place on Monday night. You'll also see our governance team norms and protocols, which includes things that we've worked on for a number of years, just the way in which we operate as a governance team. And then a reminder, we need to select a delegate and alternate for the GSBA conference in June, which are all fun and exciting things. Students, you are welcome to stay for the remainder. All good. Yeah. You guys have a wonderful evening. Make sure you tell your folks that brought you thank you for bringing you tonight, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Ms. Wagner, all of that happens because of the work that you do every day in your classroom, all right? And so those kids don't know how blessed they are to have teachers like you in their life, so keep up the good work. We're proud of you. Dr. Hardigree, teaching and learning update.
Yes, great to see everyone. So it is testing season, and we're going to bring you a little update, and I am happy to just let you know that we are better prepared probably than we have ever been for state assessments and all of the other assessments that come, and that's, again, thanks to your support for all the great work, and really thank you to our school leaders and the teams that have worked tirelessly to make sure that our kids are well prepared for state assessment. So it's go time as we get to the end of the year here, and we try to build the culture, and our leaders do this, that performance culture of excellence, that our kids are proud, they're confident, they're well prepared, they know that. Our leaders have done an amazing job of embedding review opportunities, after-school tutoring, practice assessments, all of the things that help our students know that they're well prepared and confident. I also really want to thank Martha Wilson and Sandy Aiken back here, and they're going to speak in just a minute. They have worked tirelessly to make sure that we're very well prepared. And also our tech team, some of them are back here. This is very much a team effort, especially this year. We have a new ELA assessment that has multimodal text. So we have video and podcasts, and students will be wearing headphones for that ELA assessment. And I know Martha will talk about that a little bit. But those are a lot of pieces to prepare for. That'll be new for everybody in the state this year. So just a lot of teamwork and coordination between tech, assessment, our school leaders, our school test coordinators, and we're really grateful to know that we are well prepared for that. So I'm going to let Ms. Wilson and Ms. Aiken take it over here for just a bit.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hardegree, Board, Dr. Brown. Yes, it's spring, so it's testing season for sure. So let's go to the first one of these. So we have multiple assessments that are going on in the coming weeks. The milestones, end of grade and end of course. Sandy will go into some details on those shortly. End of pathway assessments for those students that have completed 3 courses in a pathway. Those particular pathways that have assessments, and then AP and IB.
So just a little bit of information about the assessments. Students in grades 3 through 8 all take English, language arts, and math. In addition to those two, students in grades 5 and 8 take science, and then students in grades 8 take social studies. So grade 8 takes all 4 areas. So they are the heaviest tested group in grades 3 through 8. And then we have the dates there for you. There are some students in grade 8 who will also take an algebra EOC, and all of our grade 8 students take the high school physical science EOG. The high schools take what's called end of course, and it's not based on grade level, it's based on are you in the course. So every student who's in algebra, concepts and connections takes that EOC. Biology, if you're registered for that course, second semester, then you sit for that EOC. So it's kind of spread out. It is new this year, literature and composition 2 has replaced American Lit. So that's more of a 10th grade kind of test instead of an 11th grade kind of test. And those dates there for that, again, that algebra EOC does affect quite a bit of 8th grade students who are also taking that algebra EOC.
And we put two references there. The first one is just the Georgia Milestones public website. There are a lot of parent resources, student resources there, just for reference for parents. And then the other link there is for the practice experience online that students can take pretty much from January on. That's ready for students to practice, and we've had multiple rounds of practice tests that we've done as well for both the EOG and EOC. So, and as Dr. Hardegree indicated, it's quite a team that we use for assessments. The school test coordinators really run the testing in the buildings. Those are typically our assistant principals. And then we have a district assessment team that's made up of monitors. We're required by the Governor's Office of Student Achievement to have a district monitor in every building, watching and making sure that they basically have a checklist of things that they have to go through to make sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to. Of course, all the testing is online now, and so security is a real big deal with that. And so anyway, the teaching and learning team works in that area. Of course, our tech team has done a great job preparing that as well. So we appreciate all that work.
As Amity mentioned earlier, the ELA test has changed drastically this year. It's called a multimodal text that they're implementing in the test. You know, it's more than just reading and comprehending what you're reading. It's listening, it's watching videos. It's very different. Students in grades 3, 5, 8, and the high school, they write an essay like they have in the past. But at students in grades 4, 6, and 7, they do a peer review. And so it's a very different test. The ELA standards did change this year, and so there's going to be quite a delay in those scores reporting. So usually we report scores to you, as soon as they come at the end of May. Normally we have those. This year we'll have math, science, and social studies, but we won't have any English reading scores until, they're saying November or December of this year. So because they'll have to do all the new standard setting, it's all a new test, they have to do all that fancy statistics with it, then it'll be late this year before we get any of those scores back and before we get CCRPI scores. So those are things that you're accustomed to seeing, you know, later in May, but it's going to be really toward the end of this year before we see any of that because of this new test that they have now. So other spring assessments that we're giving, we'll have AP test. So we have 23 different assessments for AP. We have about 970 students that are taking about 1,300 different tests for AP. And we have IB, we have about 82 students taking 165 different exams for IB. Those will all be at Jackson County High School. AP is at both high schools. So we have a lot of testing going on this spring. Between now and the end of the year, we start on Monday. I think we have some kind of testing every single day between now and the end of the year.
Yeah, and those scores, the AP,
yes.
both AP and IB, go directly to the student. So they get those sometime in the summer. Normally it's early July when they get those scores. And then we also have the end of pathway assessments, which start next week as well. There are 27 different assessments going on next week. And basically the end of pathway, not every pathway has an exam, but many of them have those. And then in addition, some of those exams are actually credentialing type exams that the student takes with them when they leave high school. And there are 710 students taking those 27 assessments. So. And that's all. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
The scores coming back in November, is that the way it's always going to be going forward, or
No.
just this year?
Just this year. Just because
So typically those scores come back and we all get the scores tentatively, and then we do kind of a process in the summer where we match and make sure everything's together. We get graduation rates and that kind of thing. Those accountability measures happen then. So typically early fall, we get all that stuff back, and we've got everything happens then. And they really think it's probably going to be December.
just because of this new test.
Just because of the test. We actually have some teachers participating in the development stuff this summer that Godot offers for the test development. But we're still taking the test, and the scores are going to count, even though they, so. Affect us?
The lateness of the scores, it just kind of, whereas we're used to having all those scores in our accountability scores, the CCRPIs, we're used to having all of that late summer, early fall. Now it's just delay, just a little bit of delay.
So the one thing that is really different about that is the Lit and Comp 2, which is actually a new test this year. We used to have American Lit was the EOC, it was an 11th grade test. It's now moved to a 10th grade test that's Lit and Comp 2. That typically, an EOC typically counts 10% of the student's grade. That's waived this year. So we'll finish up their scores, their transcripts will be posted, everything's done. That 10% won't count this year for that Lit and Comp 2 class. Yes.
Well, the other thing too is a lot of times the schools use those scores to make sure they have placements correct for the next year. And so there will be, they'll be missing some of that this year as school starts as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep, thank you so much, Martha and Sandy. All right, so just a preview of summer programs. We're also gearing up and planning for summer programs, and really grateful to our school leaders for the work that they've put in on this. We'll be having elementary summer learning as well as secondary summer learning. And our principals have collaborated really since about December on this, but they've decided that it would be a great idea to have an East and a West community so that we can kind of pool our resources. Sometimes it's hard to get enough teachers at one particular school, but by having an East and a West, we can offer the opportunity to everybody across our district. and have our own teachers and admin running that. So we'll actually be tapping a couple of our assistant principals to kind of serve as the principal over elementary summer program, so that gives them some great experience as well. And we've had about 50 teachers who are interested in participating, either one way or the other. So we're in the process of identifying those students. We'll be continuing that as we move through assessment season and getting those plans in place. But we're really excited to be able to continue the learning for those students who need it. It always, when you're sitting in a meeting with a student who may be on the borderline of are they really ready for the next grade level, it feels good to know that we have 2 weeks of solid learning with our own teachers. Many of these teachers are our support teachers who provide interventions throughout the year, so they're skilled in providing those best resources like the Orton Gillingham reading instruction, things that our parents would have to go out and pay a lot of money for if they were to do on their own. So we're really grateful to be able to do that for them this year. So we'll be really making it data-driven and student-centered based on what those students need and giving them the readiness that they may need for that next grade level. So again, our principals and school leaders will be identifying those students and be a part of that planning process as we move through that. And then also for secondary, our administrators, our principals and APs have worked together to plan secondary summer programs as well. So there's, again, an East and a West hosted at Jackson County High School and East Jackson High School and also East Jackson Middle, serving the needs of those students those first couple of weeks of June. And again, it'll be supported by our own teachers and leaders, and a half-day session focused for those students who may need unit and credit recovery for success for that, building skills for the next grade level, or recovering those credits that they need. And then also, we're proud to continue offering, it's been a great success, the summer health and PE course. So thank you for your support for all of those opportunities. All of these also include transportation for our students. So a big shout out to all of the departments for working together, to Dwayne and his team, and also food service for coordinating the effort so that we can feed students when they're with us for summer programs, and we can get the students there that need that support. Any questions? All right, thank you so much.
All right, Board. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to share some updates from HR this evening. As always, the work that we do in HR is consistently tied to our strategic plan. And tonight, I wanted to share a little bit with you about some of the exciting work that we're doing that's centered in that Objective C, developing and supporting staff. But it also has a direct impact on all of the objectives, making sure we're recruiting and retaining high-quality employees. And when we developed this strategic plan, we were very, very intentional. It spanned 5 years. And because of that, our responsibility as a department is not to just respond to what's happening currently, but to be thinking down the road, thinking through those 5 years. And what are we going to anticipate our system looks like? What are our needs going to be as we continue down that path on the plan and make sure we're prepared for success? And so one of the key areas we know we have got to be intentional about planning is our leadership. If we want strong schools, we have to ensure that we're supporting strong leaders. And that has to be an intentional process. And what the data is telling us right now is very clear, a story that is happening across the nation, across our state. It is not just unique to us. And that is the role of the principal is changing. It's no longer a long-tenured position. Across the country and in Georgia, we see our leaders are turning over faster. And what's more important for us locally as we look at our strategic plan is going into next year, starting next year, 76% of our principals will be in that induction phase, less than 4 years of experience. But I want to be very clear. We believe we have the right leaders in place. So we have confidence in them. We know that they are in this for the right reasons, and we are proud of the people that have been chosen to lead our schools. But I also recognize that confidence alone is not going to be enough. So what the data is telling us here is we've got to be very, very intentional about how we're supporting these new leaders, because their success as principals ultimately determines our students' success. So it's very important that we focus on this goal. So it changes the work in our department a little bit. We can't just focus on filling positions. We've got to focus on building a leadership pipeline. We've got to look down the bench and have people that can get in the game when we need them. We can't just be reactive, we've got to be proactive. So here is how we are responding. We're being much more intentional about how we develop our leaders at every level. What you see here is not just about participation, it's a system that we've put into place. We grow our assistant principals through formal programs through Gale and GOSA. We invest in our teacher leaders and to build our future pipeline through programs at RESA. And we extend that development into district level leadership. If you remember at our retreat when I showed you that statistic of where our departments that were in the high risk for retirement, is district office is one of them. So we've got to be thinking ahead as well as what principals and what staff members are we preparing to take on those roles. So one of the most important moves and the most impactful moves I think we have done is ensuring that every new assistant principal and new principal receives executive coaching for their first 2 years. That is something that I am very proud to say our district offers, and is something not all districts do offer. So they have an executive coach that serves as a mentor that comes alongside them that's from outside of our county. It's not evaluative. It's not someone that's going to evaluate them, so they have that camaraderie with them and comfortable level that they can talk through things. We all know sometimes in our roles we need to vent, we need to get things out, and these are the people that are coaching them through those tough moments. And so we're super proud to have that. It's not just about accelerating effectiveness, it's making sure that we keep them and support them as they are in these roles. As we build the pipeline, it's also been very clear about what we're building toward. So we have developed the portrait of a leader. This is defining the expectations of who we're looking for when we say we want leaders in Jackson County. Leaders who build strong relationships and trust, leaders who keep students at the center of every decision, leaders who think strategically and act with purpose, leaders who lead with integrity, and leaders who communicate clearly with all of our stakeholders. But this isn't just a vision, we are going to put a structure behind it. I am so excited next year we are going to launch our Aspiring Leaders program. This program is designed to identify and develop high potential teacher leaders and prepare them for future leadership roles. They'll engage in leadership sessions, mentorship, real world experiences, and they'll participate in a capstone project where they decide on something that they would like to see improved in their school or in our district, and they're coached through and walk through that improvement process. So it's not just that they're learning leadership, they're practicing it. And I truly feel like the program, this kind of program, helps us move from just replacing, filling vacancies, to establishing that pipeline that we talked about. So we are super excited. This is launched to our principals in the morning. We'll share with them that this is going to be available for our teacher leaders and encourage them to walk the halls and identify those people that they see leadership skills in. I know I'm in my position because one of my former principals would not sign my recommendation form when I wanted to go get my master's. I walked in her office and said, "I need your recommendation, Miss Isaacs," and she said, "I'm not signing that." I said, "Okay." She said, "You don't need another degree in elementary ed. You are ready for leadership. And when you realize that, I'll sign your form and I'll be behind you all the way." And so that sparked something in me, and I realized that maybe people saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I'm hopeful that the same thing will happen as our leaders walk the halls and encourage some of our teacher leaders. Guess what? You're ready, and you can do this. And that will help our district and help us to continue to think toward the future. Because we know leadership isn't something that happens by chance. We have to be proactive and plan for it. So we are super excited about this program, super excited about the direction we're going in, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have. All right, thank you.
All right, Good evening, board. Excited to be here tonight. Want to give an update on our foundation. Year one's coming to an end, so established it in May. It is a full nonprofit. We raised over $130,000 this year through strategic partnerships and staff donations, which has been tremendous. We awarded 14 staff grants throughout the year, 7 in August and 7 in February, and then we gave out 15 student scholarships in March for $1,000 each, which was a lot of fun to work through those categories, determine the winners, and they go surprise them in their classrooms. Some of those scholarships are for alumni of Jackson County schools, so we were able to call them. One of the alums who's finishing her student teaching and is actually a paraprofessional at Maysville, and she graduated from East, so I got to go surprise her in her class that she's a paraprofessional and student teaching at. So these are our scholarship winners. So there's a good mix of East Jackson and Jackson County. These students blew our foundation board away with their submissions to the scholarships. You see there's several for Heather Backer and her honor. You see the intention, right? We want to give students scholarship money to go be educators and get them back to our county. And then engineering, performing arts, technical college, STEM and STEAM, healthcare, and the healthcare ones funded by Northeast Georgia Medical Center and the health system there. So really exciting time to, end year one, giving out $15,000 in scholarships to students and alumni. So what's next? I'm going to continue the momentum we have, build those partnerships, find different ways to get people involved, continue to support initiatives. You see a list of the initiatives that we did this year, our Thanksgiving food drive, the food pantry at East Middle, United Way, of course, our Teacher of the Year banquet, and then future events, looking into golf tournaments, 5Ks, banquets, community engagement events, just ways to continue to build revenue for our foundation that we can pump right back into our schools. So any question about the foundation? No? All right. Just the informational purpose, we are in the process of switching website vendors from Finalsite to Parent Square. Parent Square is obviously our communication platform that we utilize in our system. We're 95% connected to our families in Parent Square, which is a huge number when you think that we can reach 95% of people by a push of a button. The smart sites that Parent Square has, they're a little cleaner, and they allow us to push a button in an emergency situation through Parent Square that'll also publicize to our website, and so we don't have to do multiple platforms there. So we'll begin that process to kind of an idea of what the district site looks like with the video that goes all the way to the top now. I am exhausted. I've spent all day building websites, and I'm ready to go home and go to bed from looking at a computer screen. But again, some advantages, more capabilities with Parent Square, the ability to post onto one time on multiple platforms, and then we'll also build the websites for the new schools, be able to get those up and running with just the district logo, and then easily flip the colors and logos when we release those next January. So excited about that. It's always a good look, and obviously keep those up to date with information for our community and families to have. So questions? All right. Thank y'all.
Good evening, board. Just a enrollment update for you from Student Services this evening. 11,490 Panthers and Eagles at the end of the month. We've seen pretty consistent there over the last few months in terms of that number. We anticipate some growth over the summer, but right now we're about 11,490. Yes, sir. I thought you.
I do have just an observation. Looking at this, so in the beginning of the school year, it looks like every elementary school we have has more students. Is that correct?
We are up in, I believe, just about all of them, yes, except for Maysville. Well, no, Maysville's up from the beginning of the year. From last year, they're down a touch, but from the beginning of the year, yes, we've seen growth in every school. Our younger populations are growing in every school, yes. Yeah. And we're seeing, of course, on the west side, that growth is a little more exaggerated than it is on these. West Elementary, Gum, and Heroes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Any other questions on enrollment? Thank you.
I just wish you could tell me where we're going to be next August.
Good Good evening. I'm happy to be here with you guys and very happy to introduce you to our new finance director. Stella Smith started this week, which has been wonderful. So thank you. That's how my heart's feeling. And when you mentioned about how great the teacher was at Legacy Knoll, it reminded me of something that happened with my son this week. I'll share real quick. So I sent him a TikTok that was beautiful. That was like, your mom loves you and your mom's your biggest cheerleader. It was really nice. And he came back to me and said, Mom, don't send me TikToks. That's not a reliable source. I was like, okay, noted. Thank you. He's not wrong. So I'm going to begin with the SPLOST report. And, oh, thank you. You had it up there and I messed it up. So for the month of February, we collected $1,159,918, which is a decrease over all measures. So that was not happy for us, but we do have a $5 million balance in that account, and we are working on a lot of projects. So we will be putting that money to good use. Okay, we're going over to the financial report. For revenues through March, we collected $141,251,247, which is 85% of what we budgeted. At this time, we collected the money from the state that was for the bonuses, but we had not paid it out. So you'll see that included in the revenues, but not included in expenses. For expenditures through March, we have spent $117,835,147, which is 71% of what we budgeted. And at this point in the year, we're at 75% of the year. Okay, for our fund balance, we ended March at $56,085,688. That is a decrease from prior month and a significant increase from prior year. The last thing I have to talk about is our plan administrator for our 403B and 457 plans has to be approved by the board, so I believe you probably have that, but it's not on the screen. We just need your permission to name me as the plan administrator so that I can sign documents when people are leaving and need to take their money to another vendor, that sort of thing. Does anyone have questions about anything I presented? All right, thank you guys.
Good evening, board. It's good to see you guys again. And for the new faces, I'm Taylor Blake. I am our school nutrition director here in Jackson County. I have just a very brief update for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about our current participation data and about the ZZ's Grab the Tab grant. So our year to date, we've served 388,000 breakfasts, which is down just a little bit from last year. I'm working on finding opportunities to revamp our breakfast menus a little bit in order to get that participation back up to where I would like it to be. We are increased by 1% on our lunches to 788,000, with our total meals of 1.1 million for the year. This is just through the end of February. So March data will be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Our average daily participation is 49.6% of our students, so we're very lucky in that we have about half of our students eat with us every day. And our current free and reduced percentage is 50.6%, so it has gone up just a little bit since we did our FTEs back in October. And I'm pleased to announce that we have received a grant from ZZ's, which is a K-12 food service vendor that we get our applesauces from, where we've received $73,000 in grant money from that company, and they'll be coming on April 29th to South Jackson Elementary School to present us with the big check and do their fun co-creation with a couple of students in Mr. Miller's class. It's going to be a great day of just celebrating the fact that we got this grant, and it pays off $73,000 of our current student meal debt. Are there any questions for me?
What is our total student meal debt?
As of today, we are just over 80,000. Almost all of it, yeah.
Who wrote the grant?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Brown, Board, I appreciate the opportunity to bring a facilities update to you. Very excited to share with you the progress at our new site. We'll start with Heroes. I knew I was going to say that. Hayes Farm Elementary. Already built that one. You know, they're beginning to run together, all of them, but let's actually start with Hayes Farm. The slab on grade is 100%. The structural steel started in the gym and is moving toward the cafeteria and continues throughout the classroom section. The MEP rough ends are moving along and block is being laid on the exterior walls. At the middle school, building pad is on grade. The concrete foundations continue, and the first slab on grade pour for the middle school is scheduled for late April. So we are ahead of schedule there. The high school structural steel is underway, continues. If you go by it, you can see how it changes. It seems like it's every day, or at least it is to me, and it continues to move up. On top, the auditorium has been poured, and we continue to move on slab progress there. All right. Just a quick view of the high school, Hayes Farm Elementary first. You can see the structural steel that we were talking about, how it starts in the gym and it goes up, and then the pans that they're putting down for the actual roof on the site. The bottom is the middle school, just a quick overview of the foundations. Here's the high school. You've got some footers being poured, and you can see on the first level, on the lower level, that the structural steel continues from the gym over toward the opposite side. And this is an overview of the site from the southeast corner. You can see the topsoil being spread throughout the site, the sifted topsoil. And then also you can see progress from the entire project itself. You can see the overview of the auditorium wing and the vapor barrier that's put down before concrete's poured. Here again, another view of the middle school and the foundations that we talked about, and also the overall view of the structural steel that's being set. It's different now because you actually have CMU walls that are being put up on the outside of it. So even that picture's outdated. All right, some of the things that happened over spring break. We did start the junior ROTC auxiliary building, and here you can see in the first slide the foundation being worked on, and then the concrete being poured on the second slide. And it is ready for the building, which should be coming in late May. We also, in the facilities department, did a lot over spring break besides the ROTC building. One of those projects was the South Jackson Elementary Gym. You can see the top picture and how the dirt, the dust, and everything had collected on not only the metal but also the ductwork. And you can see the bottom after the crews came in and cleaned it and repainted from basically floor all the way up. And that included the structural steel also. Another project that was completed was the restriping of the parking lot at Jackson County High School. It was in desperate need, and that whole project, whole site was completed over the break. And then last but not least, Jackson County High School, the new dance floor was put down also, and just a quick picture of that. We also, sir? Yes, sir, it was. We also did projects in lighting and also HVAC throughout the school system. Some of that's not mentioned, but our facility team is very busy during the breaks that we have, especially spring break, because we're gearing up for summer, but we get a lot done during that time. The children go and have a break, and then we're able to get in there and do what we need to. Any questions on any of this? Yes, sir.
If I may.
Mr. Clary, I would not expect any
Can you,
different, sir.
can you just kind of give me kind of a quick, where you are as far as like budget and schedule on those schools? And then for those of us just kind of wondering, what should we be expecting, say, through the end of the summer?
That's a good question. So right now, our progress, we have, I'd say, caught up on the high school. And we continue to move forward. The structural steel, as you see, will continue to be completed with the pan put on the roof. I would say that the CMU would be well underway at the high school, probably completed at the elementary, and the middle school slabs will be poured. As far as on budget, we are on budget. We pay those payouts every week. We look at them, or every 2 weeks they come in, and right now everything is where it's supposed to be. So we look for great things to happen. Also, MEPs are being completed in the elementary. In the high school, they're still working on pouring some of that top foundation and slabs, so that'll continue, but I think we're at a good pace and we're on track.
One of the
sir.
questions that I ask David every 2 days is, did we hit rock?
Let me say this. I probably should not say this. I shouldn't say this. I feel like that we are confident that I hope that we are out of the rock phase. There was another area in the middle school lunchroom area that we had a little bit of rock, but we were able to rip that out. So I feel confident to say that we are mostly out of the rock business, I hope. So, it's a good question. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Mr. Farmer and his team for the work they put in last week during spring break and every week, really. The projects that they're able to get done while our students are out just make our schools, even more inviting and greater environments for our teachers and for our kids. I do have a few things this evening, board, for you to consider. We'd like your consideration on several projects that the 13 schools that aren't brand new being built need to continue to provide environments for our kids that we would like to do. So the first would be the selection of a construction management at risk group to work with us to help add some space onto East Middle, East Elementary, and some storage there at West Jackson Middle School. And we went through our bid process, put it out for RFP. We had several groups. We had 5 actual bidders that came through. Carroll Daniel Construction, Grail Construction, JCI, Meja, and Parrish Construction all submitted bids, and we went through a process with our committee to evaluate those particular bids to determine which group we felt would give us the best opportunity to make these additions in a way that would utilize our dollars to the best extent possible and build these schools the way we want them built. And it is the recommendation of our committee that the board approve Grail Construction as the construction manager at risk for these additions and renovations to be made at East Jackson Elementary, East Middle, and West Jackson Middle School. And you can see the fee amount that they would charge us to supervise that construction within that budget framework that we gave them, which was about a $16 million budget for the entire project. Questions about that? So the plan would be to add 10 classrooms to East Middle, plus some restrooms and some office space there, some special ed classrooms there for them. And then at East Middle, we would be adding 16 classrooms to allow us to move the 8th grade back there. And also to make a band room renovation and enlarging the band room there, also enlarging the cafeteria so that we'd have space for those kids to make sure they could eat there appropriately. And also creating a little bit of a change in the chorus room structure there so that that space is a little more usable for the chorus teacher. So that's similar to what we did at West? It's very similar to what we did at West. It's a little bit of different framework. Instead of putting caps on each, we're going to add 4 classrooms onto the 6th grade wing and then create an 8th grade wing on a T on that last hallway there. So it's a little bit bigger on that wing than the rest, and not doing T's on each hallway, just on a cap on one that adds 4 classrooms. West, we're just adding storage onto the gym because the gym really doesn't have enough storage for what we need for that building. So we're adding some storage onto the current storage just to create more opportunity for them to store their equipment. It's a very small addition at West Middle. Any other questions about that? All right, go on to the next. It is our recommendation that the board approve new scoreboards for East Jackson High School. That scoreboard is 19 years old. And also for Jackson County High School, just to put us in line with what we plan to do at Houston High School. These would be new LED digital scoreboards, similar to what many of our districts around us are putting in or have already put in for years. And so it is our recommendation that the board approve 2 boards, one for Jackson County High School and one for East Jackson High School. The cost of the boards themselves would be $290,000 or less for each board. It's very competitive. We went through a bid process with that and have beat up our vendors as much as we can to try to get those prices down to where we believe that it's very competitive in compared to what everyone else is paying for similar products. These will be high-quality boards with 10-year warranties. Any questions about that? Mr. Hudson?
I emailed Dr. Brown some questions, and he was kind enough to answer them, and so I would like to ask just a couple of follow-ups, if I may.
Certainly.
Could you just fill me in a little bit on the money we're going to receive back on the advertisement, and how is that going to help us either offset the first cost, or is it going to go back to our schools and our programs?
So a lot of that is to be determined. It is our plan to support our schools by presenting these as opportunities for them to create funds for their programs and to potentially reimburse us to some degree. But we're working on that plan, to be honest with you, Mr. Clarsey. Some districts require some type of a payback. Others have not asked their schools, but they also expect the schools to utilize these boards not only to promote their students and their programs, which is the biggest piece that comes from these boards. It's just a great opportunity, not only on Friday nights, but at every event that happens in the stadium, for our programs and our students to be celebrated and to be publicized, right? There's so many opportunities within what these boards can do to do that. But fundraising is a big piece that can also be accomplished with the boards. That varies sometimes between schools and what opportunities are within those school zones, right? With businesses, some schools have greater opportunity to raise money than others. So we don't want to be so much of a blanket with that, but we do want to ask our schools certainly to recognize that these boards are opportunities and we may be able to recoup some money. We do have potential commitments from some corporate sponsors to help us offset some of these costs, but I don't have a number right now to tell you exactly what we believe we could bring in to offset that cost at this moment.
They also help us save money in terms of printing signs. Every oftentimes the signs people want, right? It's digital, so $5,000 sponsorship, whatever it might be, you're not spending the overhead on getting signs in place.
I can appreciate all of that.
Yes, sir.
I just, it's not a scoreboard.
No, it is a video display board. That is correct.
So, at any rate, I'm not going to kind of go down the road too much with that. Can you tell me a little bit about the sound system replacement at Jackson County High School? What should we expect this football season? Is it going to be louder? Is it just going to be better? Help me out.
We do anticipate that the system at East Jackson is needed for sure. Jackson County does have a newer system. It's about 7 years old. The issue with this is that the sound would be integrated to the board itself. And so it would come from the board so that the picture and the sound would be coming at the same time. It's easier to kind of calibrate, right, using a system that is newer and aligned with what the board is presenting at the same time. So the system that was in place now was not designed to calibrate to a digital screen because there was no digital screen for it to calibrate to, if that makes sense. So the integration there would be enhanced. Over the course of the next 10 years, I believe that it would be a worthy expense. And it would put us in line so that all of our schools, once Houston opens, will have a mirrored experience for our students, for the fans that are at each of those stadiums. So we do believe that over the course of the next 10 years, it will certainly pay off if we were to make that change now.
So if the warranty is for 10 years, I'm guessing we should expect to keep it 10 years? Is that kind of the thought?
Parts and labor. Parts and labor for 10 years. Yes, sir, at least 10 years. Some of these boards last much longer than that, but it's a 10-year warranty that we are going to utilize for sure.
Well, we just zipped around the moon the other day, so I'm guessing in 10 years, there's no telling what we're going to be seeing. But if you think we're going to keep it 10 years, then I'm good with that.
We're anticipating that, yes, sir.
At Houston High School, this was included in the bid, correct?
That's correct. It's considered part of the.
So
the
we're
base-
really bringing, we'll be bringing East and Jackson County to what Houston will have when it opens, correct?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
I really appreciate you offering this for our consideration. As an equipment crew guy for Jackson County High School, we were the only school that didn't have one of these. And we went to band competitions around the state, and they all had them. One even had a video board for the softball and baseball field.
Correct. Many schools are putting them in other venues other than the stadium. That's
We were
correct.
the only ones that didn't have it. So I'm glad. Our kids deserve what other folks have.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Any other questions?
Let me just say to my fellow member, I don't want to give the impression I'm opposed to these. I shared this with Dr. Brown that I believe the money could be, nobody's more supportive of athletics and extracurricular activities than me and what can go on at these things. But this is a lot of money that we could use for more space for students. And from education, we saw some art stuff here tonight. So I am for this. The cost is just a lot, and to hear what Rob says in the list, Dr. Brown sent me of who in our area has these. I mean, that's just where we are today.
Correct.
But we need, there's nothing that says we don't need to be smart and prudent at the same time.
I agree. It is our intention to be not so much in front of everyone else, but certainly to do it better than everyone else, Mr. Claresine. So we believe that in terms of the cost and what we're getting out of that cost, we're being very efficient with this purchase. Yep. Our next opportunity, we talked about this a little bit at the retreat board, but I just wanted to bring it to you for your consideration for approval, is the HVAC replacement at East Jackson High School and Gum Springs Elementary School. And this opportunity would allow us to replace the energy recovery units at East High and to replace some units at Gum Springs Elementary School for a cost that we believe would be at a minimum about half the cost of what it would cost us to do this if we wait until 2027 or later. And so we do believe that this will allow us to have years and years of quality HVAC replacement at a cost that will be much less than when we would have to do it over the next few years. These units are 19 years old or older, so they have already outlived their usefulness in terms of what you would expect, and we're grateful for that. But we know that over the next few years, we're going to have to replace them, doing so now. And they have had repairs. Just these are not units that never need work, but at this point, replacing them makes sense because of the replacement costs that will expand to a much greater number once we get into next year. Yes, sir? I thought I saw a question there. Nope, gotcha. All right, any questions about the HVAC replacement?
I think Rick's not in favor of air conditioning, so
I understand, right.
he couldn't get his microphone to work to tell you that.
I'm not in favor of the cost of such things, but 19 years is pretty good. And we are saving, this is actually a cost-saving move, correct?
Overall, yes. I
from
mean,
our-
it's hard. It's like when my wife says, "Hey, I saved us money by getting something on sale." Well, there's still
I
less
have
money in
that
the
too.
account,
You
right?
have that same problem, huh?
So it is going to cost us up to $975,000. But if we were to wait to replace these units, it is our understanding that the cost would be double or more.
Because of the new standards.
Correct. That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Well, we went over that in the retreat, I believe, too.
Yep.
So,
We did. Yes. Sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate it. All right. The next opportunity, East Jackson High School. They have lunch tables. Did I get out of order? I'm good, okay. East Jackson High School has lunch tables for the students there that are 19 years old. Many of the seats have broken and have been replaced by mismatched colors and other things. It's in our estimation, it is time to allow that cafeteria to get a little bit of a refresh with some new tables. This would allow us to buy 24 12-seaters, 10 8-seat tables, and 4 of the high tops, and with some logos on a few of them and that kind of thing. We believe that this would be a worthy expense to allow that cafeteria to be refreshed so the students have a place to eat that they can be proud of. Any questions about that?
What comes of the soldiers we're kind of trading out? Is there a secondary market for that kind of stuff, or?
We could put them on Gov Deals and see if we can get anything for them. Otherwise, they go to the scrap heap. Yes, sir.
Okay.
David, can we put them on Gov Deals?
Don, you in favor of lunch tables? I just had a
Lunch
question.
tables with seats.
Yeah, I agree.
Seats are better.
These will be similar to what Jackson County has because,
Very similar, yes, sir.
and we've been in Jackson County 5-6 years.
Correct, yes, sir.
So those tables are nice. So
They are,
I
yes.
have been to East and those. they
These
do
are the
neat.
ones that allow for great mobility, allow the room to be utilized in different ways, but also give the kids, a quality seating experience.
19 years, there's a lot of lunches been served.
That's a lot of lunches, yes, sir. All right, the next opportunity is really a rehash. You've already approved in a previous meeting, the ROTC auxiliary building. I made a mistake and did not make that an eSPLOST expenditure that you were approving, so I wanted to make sure that this was approved under the right fund. And so using the eSPLOST money, if possible, we would like to do that to make this building happen through that particular fund instead of through general fund. So if you wouldn't mind approving that on Monday, we'd appreciate it. And then our last opportunity, and this is for the arts, Mr. Clarisy, which I know you support. Our band programs at East Jackson High School and at Jackson County High School, we had a chance to meet with them and look at some of the things that they are asking for. We believe that we can support them with some funds to allow them to improve their program through expenses that would allow for either equipment, infrastructure, or instrument purchases. And so we're asking you to approve an eSPLOST expenditure of $100,000 per school that the schools would then be able to utilize at their discretion with some input from us, of course, but discretion to purchase things that their programs need. So it may not be the exact same expenditure at Jackson County High School as it would be at East because they don't necessarily have the exact same needs. But included in this would be potential band towers for their marching band observation areas so they can watch their programs from there, or instrument or other equipment needs that they have for the program.
So we discussed this at the retreat.
We did as well, yes, sir.
And I thought it was 2 band towers, but you're saying it may be 1, could be 2, you get the choice, is that?
So, but so one tower may be, because they're on the ground and don't have the height, so there may be some differences there. So what we said was $100,000 for your program. If you decide you need a band tower that costs $40,000, then the rest could go to instruments. If you decide you need a band tower that costs a little more or less than that. So we just wanted to give them discretion in terms of how the money would be utilized. Questions about that? All right. Grateful for your support. Thank you.
Mr. Sanders, can I take 1 second before we go to executive session?
Certainly, Dr. Brown, we're still under superintendent's.
Thank you, sir. I want to tell our team what just happened tonight and all the work that took place doesn't happen by chance. It happens by all the work that y'all are doing every day, from Taylor getting a grant for a ton of money to the testing stuff that's going on and all the moving parts that come with that, and making sure you get the right accommodations, making sure that the technology works. We were on the phone with the DOE today, talking with them about technology concerns that we have with regard to that, to Ms. Todd and the leadership program and the leadership development, and it's going to help us. It's going to help our succession planning for Jackson County's success long after some of us are sitting in these seats. And then I think about Mr. Hooper with the website and continuing to build our brand and how important that is to Aaron stepping in with the finances and making sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and telling me no that we can't spend that money on that. She's getting pretty good at that. So Mr. Wester and the heavy lifting and watching him and Mr. Farmer beat up on all these vendors to get the best prices to make our tax dollars go as far as they can go so that we're good stewards. So thank you. I'm done. Thank you.
Yes, staff, outstanding job on behalf of the board. I'll give you a pat on the back for that. We have a need for executive session for personnel. Do I have a motion to go to executive session? So moved. Motion by Mr. Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Claris. All in favor? Aye. Mr. Brooks, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Aye. Need a motion to approve the superintendent's personnel recommendations in executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Cleary. Should I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Aye. Anything else, Dr. Brown? We are adjourned.